Kryptonite, that was a joke, actually. Back in the day, everybody in the world saw Margot Robbie coming whenever she came to ask for dirt like this, and basically we'd all have been fired if we told her anything about anything. And a number of people she asked might have been military court-martialed and beaten to death in jail. So everybody used to casually lie to us. The whole thing about Superman and Kryptonite is completely wrong. It's actually more like the story of Clayface. Now, back in the day when nobody could spell, because the government did not consider it a chore or duty of the church to teach people how to read their own Bible, or hear their own Bible, or hear anything or read anything, including the poison bottles in the shop. Back then, there weren't any tests for spelling. So basically, if what it is an angel from the future had appeared with a scientific list of all the diseases that Superman had casually been infected with, they could not have written them in a book or typed them into a computer, like the 2001 Space Odyssey computer, for instance, if they wanted to. In fact, nobody could. Nobody could spell them. So what happened was the Matrix computer decided that everybody would be allowed to survive, because nobody clearly had been infected with anything, or they would have plugged in more letters into the machine. But they didn't. And that version of reality was allowed to exist for as long as the nobility were refusing to teach the common staff how to read until the end of slavery, basically. So, during that time, none of the common could be subjected to any tests of spelling or accuracy or any type, and were much more like the media portrayal of zombies than you might think. Questions that went unanswered, like, why am I a girl? Or how come these guys are black and I'm not? Were just mysteries through their lives that were never answered. Millions of mysteries that were never answered. Why is the sky blue and the grass green? Why are the cows got horns and the sheep got fluff? Nobody knew. And it was apparently fine that nobility did not care about that at all. Story of Wangs, for instance. Nobody knew about that either. The world as exists today is much more organised meritocratically than it was, but still not as much as it needs to be to survive. It's still quite common to birth children and not teach them how to read in the third world regions of the world. I'm sure we went over in the charity videos already. Unfortunately, not where I come from, where if you don't know how to spell your own death certificate like this, then what it is basically you would be enslaved to a German geneticist for the rest of your life, who's snobby Republican like this, over white like this, and underfed. Now, Superman was considered to be the best of the bastards who couldn't read. He very much was good and enthusiastic until everybody could read. In fact, everyone was mandated to read. They were forced to read in the name of the law. Not just because of the maps, which were written in badly, like in Iraq, or the chemical samples of the food, which were romantically entitled like they are still in Spain, or the parentage of the children in the orphanage, which was sometimes guessed at like they still are in England. They had to know these things. These things were needful. And as soon as it turned out that Superman had to learn how to read, Lex Luthor was born. Lex Luthor is great at all types of reading. He follows every manual he's allowed. But Superman never follows any of them. Because if you ever do teach him the law, including laws about air traffic control in the city, he'll tell you why it's illegal for him to be super until he dies.